I really don't know what I would do if I didn't have some work that I had to get to. Then
Hello, hello, hello. This is Shirley Crawford, the owner of Second Chance Consulting and the executive director of the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Woodlawn Drive, directly across the street from the Kroger at Woodlawn. Welcoming you to another episode of WorkHARDAholics. For those of you who have never joined us before, welcome. Glad to have you on board. WorkHARDAholics are the people in your life, possibly you, who are always doing something. We don't rest on our laurels. We don't wait for things to happen. We make things happen. So we come together for a few minutes each week to talk about tools and techniques and resources to help us be more productive. And at the same time, we talk about how to stay in balance. We do more than the average bear, so we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves because otherwise we can't do all this wonderful stuff. So let the fun begin. Each week we begin with our word for the week. And this week our word is coming forth because I was really thinking about takeovers, like, hostile takeovers. I don't know why. Well, in part, here's the thing. So we're in this landscape right now. We're dealing with the pandemic. States are opening. States are staying shut. I'm in Virginia, so safety first. But there's a lot of things happening. And so as an entrepreneur and in an environment of capitalism, there are winners and losers. That doesn't sound nice, but it's just the fact of the matter. And there are also lots of opportunities. And so some of them are digging within you. Others of those are looking out of the landscape and seeing where others might have mismanaged and picking up the ball that they've dropped and take it forward. And so that kind of led me in a business word to think about takeovers, right? Because there's going to be a very different landscape when this is all said and done. And it's going to be interesting. I think it's kind of exciting. But I am a capitalist at heart, right? I'm very much an entrepreneur. And so, yeah, but I just see opportunities everywhere. Okay, but with that in mind, takeover wasn't a good enough word. We all know that word. So I started thinking about other words. So I was thinking about amalgamation, which is slightly different than a merger. But I landed on Reconnoitre. I know, right? Great word. It's also in line with reconnaissance. So if you haven't heard Reconnoitre, most of us have heard reconnaissance. And so a reconnoitre is that individual who goes out to survey basically enemy territory to assess, and they make a reconnaissance. So they're the one who comes back with all that intel. The reconnoitre is the one who goes out and finds that information. This downtime seems like a great time to become a reconnoitre, to really see what's out there with your competition, to see what's out there in the landscape of the world. Because now that everyone's doing so much more virtual, I've had clients who I'm so proud of who have finally made the transition from everything having to be in person to switching a lot of things to virtual and to remotely, which is something I've been telling them about for a while. So I'm really excited that right now they're doing it. When you convert to doing more things virtually, remotely, online, even your consultations, like I can talk to you all right now. It expands you. So you go from being Richmond based to state based to US based to global, and all you really did was the first step was to convert from having to be, oh, you have to come sit down with me in my office and we have to have a chat there, and then no, like people are really rethinking. And so a part of that process is the reconnaissance process, to go out, figure out what's going on with others, how you can translate that, what's most relevant to your business. And it's also a way of keeping you with the curve, if not even ahead of the curve. So with that in mind, it takes me to our time tool technique for the week. And so in that still alignment of reconnoitre, reconnaissance, I started thinking about assessments. And so particularly for your business. And so a lot of people have difficulty doing business assessments. I love Shark Tank. I don't really watch it that much anymore. But I still love it at my heart. I just don't sit through it much. I have difficulty sitting through television programs in general, but I love Shark Tank. And so I love it when they ask a person, like, what's the assessed value of their business? And people come up with these crazy numbers. And they say, oftentimes, they had someone help them with it. And I'm like, who helped you figure that out? So a lot of people don't even know how to financially assess where their business is, assess where they're going, any of that. So for your time tool technique for the week, I want to give you a 3-step, 1, 2, 3 step for business assessments. So the first piece is evaluate your organizational goals. So based on what you said you were going to do, did you do that? It sounds simple enough, but a lot of times we don't sit back and think about it. I try to convince people as much as I can they should do a business plan. A lot of people, I think it is most, but I'll just say a lot for now. A lot of people are operating by the skin of their teeth. They're just, I'm producing it, I'm making it, I'm providing it, and we'll figure it out later. And that doesn't work. You can survive, but that doesn't come for thriving. Because sometimes you can start to grow and you have no plan, and people go under from not being prepared for growth. Sad but true. Sad but true. All right. So the second stage of that is assessing internal capabilities. So when I talk about that growth being a problem, if you know that you are the one person making your service, your product, and you can only technically deal with up to 5 people a week, and your business is tripled in business, either the quality is going to go down, the time, the quality of how you do the service, how much time you normally provide for the service, something has to decrease. And so then that in turn will have an impact on how many people will want your service. And then your reputation goes down. And the next thing you know, you're out of business. And it's like, how did that happen? You didn't have the capacity. And so that's something you have to assess. Like, assess, what is your capacity? Like, I'm big to tell people, I can tell you right now. So if you reach out to me and say, oh, I want XYZ, I can tell you, can I take you right now? Or will it be 3 months? And it is what it is. Well, a lot of people can't even tell you that. They're like, we're just busy right now, and I don't know when. Oh, no, I can tell you, because I know how many hours your project will take. I know how many hours I have. I know how many associates I have. I know how many hours they have. So it's mathematical, which is what I say. Almost everything is a mathematical. So, and the third part is assess financial performance. And trends. So trends are like what's happening in the world. So like right now I said everything's going virtual, everything's going remotely. How can you translate who you are to online and still get the same impact? So it's like Famous Amos, who, very proud of the story of this I want to say young, but he wasn't really. But this African-American gentleman who created this recipe, it sold like gangbusters, and he did it all on his own. And one day he sold it to a much larger company. I forget which one. And so, but when they sold it, he made good money, but the quality went down. Which is why you don't hear about Famous Amos as much these days. The quality went down in the mass production. So that's one of the things you want to think about, like, as far as the performance and the trends, you want to think bigger, you want to grow bigger, but do you lose you in the process? So all things you can think about. All right, that takes us to our book it moment. And so this week's book is the assessment book, by Lee Kaufman Watkins, Guerra Lopez. It's kind of textbooky, but it contains several self-assessments, and they help you define like the what to accomplish piece before you decide how to accomplish it. So it's really good for those of you who are like, I don't know where to even think about this, let alone where to begin. It helps you figure out what is it you're looking to do before you even get started on trying to do it. Like assessing the problem before you address the problem. So it's really good with that. And for taking out your data punts and helping with that. All right, we're almost wrapping up here because now we're on to our work hard, play harder moment. And so I keep saying I'm very fascinated with this whole quarantine and downtime right now. I think it's a great time to sit back and think to the little girl in you, the little boy in you. Most of my dreams for my life happened when I was 7 or 8. And what did you want to be when you grew up? Like, I always wanted to be a teacher. I did. Until I was like 11 or 12 and realized they didn't get paid anything. Nobody respected them. You're respecting them right now, aren't you? Mm-hmm. And so I still teach. I just do it in a different capacity. So I do a lot of teaching. We have a free seminar every Thursday at 1 o'clock, actually on Facebook Live for the center. I'm really into transferring knowledge, information to others. So what is it that you wanted to be when you grew up? If it was an NFL player, you might not make that cut right now, but maybe there's some other tie to that that you can utilize. So, and beyond like fantasy football or something, but maybe there's a way for you to create a book about business techniques based off of NFL principles. I don't know. The point is, now is a great time to get your reconnaissance, right? To figure out what the landscape is looking like, what you can provide, and who you want to be. So we're normally so busy rushing and rushing and rushing and getting from point A to point B that we forget about the you in the midst of all that. So take some time, figure out what you really want, and get it. Period. The end. All right, on that note, once again, Shirley Crawford here, the original WorkHARDaholic. And as I always say, live better, do better, be better. And I don't know why I always forget. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. We give you lots of little gems here. You got to share it with everyone else. Don't be selfish. They need this information too. Shame on you for not sharing. All right. So like, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, happy entrepreneuring. Ta-ta.
Because I really don't know what I would do if I didn't have some work that I had to get to.